A better route. Chapter 144. Madara had started a lot wars in his day, some between small villages, even a couple between the great ninja nations. However, this was by far his greatest work. He'd managed to get almost every single ninja in the world ready to rip his head off, and that was exactly what he'd been trying to do. His dream was right in front of him. No. He just had to reach out and take it. However, clearly no one was just going to let him do that. Madara Uchiha. Madara turned around from watching the war to see the 5 Kage had finally reached him. Well, if it isn't the very heart and soul of the 5 great ninja villages. I'm assuming you're not here just have a pleasant little chat. Obito had to keep himself from jumping at him right there. Your endless trail of death and destruction ends here, Madara. We're going to stop you, end this war, and finally bring some peace to this world. Madara scoffed, if anyone's going to end this war it'll be me. From what I've been told we've only got one-tailed beast left to get. That damn fox is obsessed with being the death of me. The Raikage looked nervous. Madara chuckled, I'm told he was looking a little grim when my people left him. You must be worried about your dear brother. B yelled, my brother wouldn't go down that easily. He'll be here helping us kick your ass in no time. Madara activated his Susanoo, for your sake I hope you're right. Let the games begin. I wasn't wrong, his brother was putting up one hell of a fight. Rin was working as hard as she could to keep him alive and B's body was helping her out a lot. It really was like he refused to die. Shizun was helping her as well, doing everything she could. She'd finished up healing Fu a while ago, and the poor girl was pretty much knocked out right now from all the stress. Rin trying to replenish all of the chakra he lost while Shizun tried to put his chakra network back in order. The human body wasn't designed to lose that much chakra at once, so when it did it messed up the chakra network pretty bad. Rin asked Shizun, how much more do you have to repair before it can try really healing his body? Shizun continued to fix what she could, he's almost ready. If I can just heal these last few pathways, then we can really get to work. Rin wanted to breathe a sigh of relief. B was a good guy, and no one wanted to see him die. Finally Shizun said, all right Rin, it's time. Let's do this. Now that Rin and Shizun knew him losing all his chakra wasn't an issue, they could start to heal his body. The healing chakra slowly started to make its way to various parts of his body, fixing all of the damage done to his muscles and bones. Finally, after about 15 minutes of healing, B slowly started to open his, "Aw man, I'm all fucked up, Gyuki is gone, I let you down buddy." Rin heard him, but didn't stop healing. "B, it wasn't your fault. There's nothing you could have done." B shook his head, "Doesn't make me feel better, I don't even want to bust out any rhymes right now." That's how Rin knew he was really beating himself up. She wanted to try and reason with him, but he had other things to do right now, mainly finishing healing him. He was back, but not exactly happy just yet. Madara didn't waste even a moment, intending to take out the 5 Kages as soon as he could. Great fire annihilation. Madara let loose a massive wall of fire that was big enough to burn all 5 of them. Mei stepped forward, "I've got this one." Water wall. Mei shot a stream of water out of her mouth and formed a wall around them, cancelling out Madara's searing attack. "I suppose I shouldn't have expected such a weak attack to kill you. Let's move on to something a little stronger then." Forest destruction. A flurry of roots came at the 5 Kages and of course they knew better than to get hit by that. All of them ran at Madara and dodged the various roots that he was trying to skewer them with. Anoki floated up and decided to be the one to try the first attack. He started up his dust release and fired a cylinder of light at Madara, detachment of the primitive world technique. Madara almost laughed as he saw the attack coming at him. He raised up his hand and started to absorb the attack with a grin on his face. Inoki looked shocked and Obito decided to explain, it's his Rinnegan. He can absorb all ninjutsu attacks so they have no effect on him. We'll have to stick to taijutsu and kenjutsu if we actually wanna hurt him. I was less than pleased, well that's gonna make this fight even more of a bitch. Madara found their ignorance hilarious, you all are quite amusing. I'm so glad you came to give me a nice little workout. Gaara didn't like being teased like that. He raised up his hand and began to manipulate the sand in his gourd. The sand weaved its way through Madara's roots and at the dark Uchiha. It quickly reached the madman, but Madara really didn't see it as a threat. He created a Susanoo ribcage and blocked the sand. Honestly, is that the best you can do? I expect much better from a Kage. Gaara gave a rare smile, and I wouldn't expect the great Madara Uchiha to fall for this. The sand that had fallen reached up under the rib cage and grabbed Madara's ankles, throwing him up and then slamming him right back down. Madara stood up and everyone expected to see a hard glare in his face. However, what they saw was far more terrifying. He had a sickeningly excited smile on his face, one that had even the Kages afraid. Yes. This is what I've been wanting, a truly great battle that I will never forget. You will make me feel alive again. Obito really hadn't been expecting something like this. Okay, you're way more batshit crazy than I thought you were. Madara just kept laughing, there's no greater pleasure than crushing a truly worthy opponent. Mei shook her head, and this is the guy who wants to bring peace to the world. Madara reasoned, I'll admit I'm somewhat mad, but that doesn't mean I don't know what needs to be done. I wasn't about to let that happen, the only that's getting done here is you getting your ass kicked, buddy. I rushed at him with his lightning armor at the ready and his fist up for a lighting strike. Madara tried to dodge the hit, but the rakeage was just too fast for him to dodge it completely. He managed to keep the rakeage from hitting his face, but he got a nice hard blow to the shoulder. At least his Rinnegan had absorbed the lighting, making the punch lose some of its edge. Madara could see he was going to have to take it up a notch. Looks like I'm gonna have to start taking this seriously. I'm glad, this is turning out to be so much fun. He created 4 wood clones and then he had himself and them activate their full-body Susanoos. There's one here for each of you. I'm sure you'll give them all your very best. The giant dark blue bodies went straight for their targets, intent on squashing them all. Gaara's brought its foot up and was about crush him, but the Kazekage wasn't gonna lose anywhere near that easily. He made a giant hand from his sand and stopped the foot as it was dropping on him. Then he threw the foot up and forced the Susanoo to fall on its back. All it took then was for Gaara to cover the entire thing with his sand. Gaara clenched his fist, get crushed. A large cracking sound was heard and Gaara took his sand off to see that the Susanoo and clone were gone. Mei had to deal with her Susanoo wielding wood clone next, and she had a pretty solid plan dealing with hers as well. She ran up to the Susanoo and jumped up so that she was right in front of it. Once she was right in front of it she got to work, corrosion style, melting mist jutsu. Mei let loose a mist that produced enough heat to actually melt the chest of the Susanoo, leaving the clone totally exposed. Then she switched to using her other bloodline, lava release, lava steam jutsu. Mei fired a small river of lava from her mouth and burned the clone into absolutely nothing. Now it was the Raikage's turn, and he sure as hell wasn't gonna lose either. He used his lightning armor, so he was next to the clone in just a mere second. I used his incredible strength to tackle the clone at the legs. The clone fell over and they jumped on top of it, slamming his elbow down on its stomach, cashing it crack. Then he flipped around and punched through the crack in the Susanoo, pulling out the clone out by its head once he was done. The Raikage knew what to do now. Let's see what you think of this. Iron Claw. He crushed the clone's head in his hand, finishing him for sure. Now Inoki had to take out his clone, which he was pretty certain he could do without much trouble. Inoki raised up his hands as the clone ran at him, earth-moving core. A square of earth underneath the Susanoo began to fall and create a square huge pit. Inoki made quick hand seals and collapsed the earth back in on itself, crushing the clone. Now that just left Obito, who was dealing with the real Madara. Madara simply couldn't resist taunting him a little bit, "So you're the person who was supposed to have surpassed me? I must say I can't wait to see if your Kamui is as deadly as they say it is." He lifted up the Susanoo's fist and tried to smash it into Obito. Madara soon found that Obito hadn't even been affected by the attack and that he was now in the Susanoo. So it does work. Obito activated his own Susanoo inside Madara's, destroy it from the inside, more than you could ever know. Madara laughed like a small child, "Oh, I am going to enjoy this, see you next time."